Well, g'day curd nerds. G'day curd nerds. Well, 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 g'day, Curd Nerds. Welcome back. I'm Gavin Weber, and this is Ask the Cheeseman, episode 393. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know that some of you have changed to daylight savings. Yeah, we are yet to change back to normal time here next weekend for us. But yeah, so it's 8 o'clock here where I am. And yeah, absolutely gonna be a fantastic stream today. So first of all, of course, as we do every stream, is thank all of the YouTube members and patrons. Thank you to new YouTube members, A Little Night Makeup, LJF, Fronk the Cronk, Carolyn Jackson, and Zombicus Aficionalis. Thank you for your YouTube memberships, and thank you to the patrons over on patreon.com as well. Big shout out to everybody who supports the channel over there. Without your financial support, the show wouldn't go on. So thank you so much. Really do appreciate it. It's one of the main reasons why I am here week after week, is because you do support me, so thank you very much. I've got a few people on the chat saying g'day, so big shout out to All Out of Spoons, really early starter, so thank you so much. G'day Nicole, how are you? I'm not in the centre, that's the problem. There we go, that's better. I thought it looked a bit weird. We got Kent Itty. We've got up Mike. Hello, Mike. And Mari, how are you? Lovely to see you. Monday morning on this Easter week. Now, before we go much further, next weekend there won't be a stream because it's Easter Monday, so I'm taking the day off. So yeah, we're going to have a break next weekend. So I'll be back the following weekend on the, let me just have a quick look, when's the date? So yeah, so I won't be here on the 5th. We will be here on the 12th is the next stream. So yeah, taking a break, going to be making some cheese over the Easter weekend, so that'll be great fun. Also, big shout out to James. Hello, James. And Matt from the Rennet Works, Ice Maiden, and yeah, that'll do. Okay, so do we have any questions? Yes, we do have some questions. Okay, let's get into it. So, where is it? The first one is from Kent. It says, is American just the cheese alloy? Don't quite understand the question. Is American cheese just the cheese alloy? Not sure. Yeah, sure. Do I miss the angry Italian comments? Well, seeing YouTube put a kibosh on, well, swearing and stuff on in comments, yeah, probably not. And it was only really on one video, so because of the because the Parmesan video got that what was it? The Parmesan video got that meme against it back in 2020. God, it's a long time. 6 years since COVID. Goodness me. Yeah, that's the only video all of those crazy comments were on. James says, hi Gavin, I really enjoy your videos and live chat. Last cheese was a Limburger made in January for the first time. Looks promising so far. I want to ask you, does Limburger melt? How do you eat it and enjoy it? Okay, so Limburger does indeed melt. It's very stinky, as you know, and you're probably starting to smell it by now if you made it in January, and it's now, well, end of March, so it should be well on its way. How do you eat it and enjoy it? Well, you can have it just on a cheese platter. It'll be a very stinky cheese platter, of course. But it is absolutely amazing in a burger. if you make a hamburger, and put a bit of Limburger on top, put a big slice, and then it just oozes over the top of the cheese, and the flavour is just outstanding. And the cheese sauce, it just gives the cheese sauce a really good oomph. So yeah, really cool. Ice Maiden says, "Hi Gavin, thank you for all your awesome videos. I'm now hooked on making cheese." Well done, congratulations. Yeah, me too. Kathy says, "My last cheese was a cottage cheese. I just moved, supplies were not unpacked. I made protein bread with it and had it with some fruit and honey. That sounds really nice. Really nice indeed." Yeah, cool. So, Jedi Mole says, "What's your meaning about using G Clabber A? What? I don't understand the question. What is a clabber? Oh, as a starter culture. I've never used a clabber as a starter culture. There is a channel, let me just bring it up, see if I can find it for you, that does, she does lots of clabbering and stuff. Where is it? On the YouTubes. Let me just find it. And where is it? Where is it? Rightio, over on the second monitor. So, the lady I'd recommend if you want to check out Clabber, here's a good video. It says Mastering the Art of Making Clabber Beginner's Tutorial. This is from Jennifer over at the Milk Slinger. Let me just grab the, there we go, grab the thing for you. I'll pop it into the chat. So this is how to make clabber for using as a culture. Now I can't get access to raw milk, so I can't make any videos about clabber. So I'll leave it to Jennifer. She's got her own cow, so yeah, she absolutely nailed it when she said how to do it there. Just be careful, make sure that your jars and everything are absolutely sanitized before you start making clabber. So hopefully that answers your question, Jedi Mole. Looks like it does. Fantastic. Mike says, "I can neither confirm nor deny putting a dab of Limburger on my shop teacher's exhaust manifold. I'm told it stunk a long time." Yeah, that would. It'd be a very stinky car. You could have put a little bit in the air vents in the car. That'd be even worse. But yeah, on the exhaust manifold in the engine bay, yeah, that would be fairly stinky, I would think. The Voice of Reason says, "Hello everybody." Hello, how are you? Lovely to see you back again. "I've just managed to get a regular supply of raw cow's milk at a good price. I was thinking of making some blue cheese. Does this type of cheese require pasteurization of raw milk?" No, there are a lot of raw milk blue cheeses out there. However, if for whatever reason, any reason whatsoever, you are unsure of the source of the source of the milk, as in the sanity of, not the sanity, the cleanliness of the milk, for whatever reason, I would low temperature long hold pasteurize the cheese. Sorry, not the cheese, the milk before you start. There are so many lactobacterias that are present in raw milk, which in some places is a good thing, other places not so good. So Personally, if I had a supply of raw milk, I would straight away low temperature long hold it. Now, if you don't know how to do that, let me just bring it up, see if I can find it. What did I call it? Home pasteurisation, I think. Home pasteurisation. No, I probably can't spell it. There we go. How to pasteurise raw milk at home for cheese making. That's the one. Yeah, so don't forget that. Yeah, if you haven't already seen it already, you can get there's a search function within each channel on YouTube as well. So for my channel, there's a wealth of information here. So you can absolutely use the search function. It's just a little, looks like a magnifying glass. So go and check that out. All right, let me just pop that into the chat for you. There we go. Home pasteurising. So yeah, it's a registered supplier. Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. The Rennet works is if you're in the UK, raw milk suppliers need to be registered. Yeah, and that's a good plan because they have to test the milk as well before they sell it to the public. Here in Australia, there's no such thing. It's just banned outright. You can't even sell it for pets, I don't think. There used to be a loophole where you could call it bath milk, but that got banned as well. So, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, when in doubt, home pasteurise it. It'll keep some of the enzymes which are used for cheese making present in the milk, and you'll get a better flavour. Look, when it comes down to it, you're introducing starter cultures into it anyway, so you know, you can use home pasteurisation will give you a clean slate, and there won't be any, what's the word I'm looking for? There won't be any trying to think. You know, when you start off with say you start off with a whiteboard, right, and it's got writing all over it, you try to rub it all off, and all you do is get a big smudge, right? That's kind of where you're going to end up if you're using raw milk for the first time for cheese making, unless you understand the chemistry of making cheese, or the biology of making cheese. Then you're not going to understand the differences that all these lactic bacterias already present in the milk are going to have on making cheese. So it's best to start off with pasteurisation, I think, and then adding the starter cultures you want, and then you'll get the expected cheese. If you then want to start using raw milk, then absolutely try some recipes. There are some online. I don't know how much I would trust them, but you can be the judge of that. I'll continue to use pasteurised, unhomogenized milk in my cheese making to good effect, and it works fine. All right, cool. Yeah, so raw milk is, look, it's good. People have been using raw milk for thousands of years, mind you. People have been catching all sorts of. It's hard. Look, the pros and cons for using raw milk is it makes a great cheese. That's a pro. The flavours are ones you're not going to get anywhere else, especially because the raw milk is specific to your area, and the French call it the terroir, or the environment that the milk was produced. Gives a unique flavour to all the cheeses. The cons are it can become infected very quickly. You have to use it within 2 to 3 days, preferably straight the next day. Absolutely. And yeah, can be prone to disease. It's a carrier of TB if there is tuberculosis anywhere near you, depending on the country you're in. And yeah, so cheeses regularly, cheese factories that use raw milk regularly have to be inspected. And at home, we don't have that inspection sort of thing. So, yeah, so that's kind of my views on using raw milk for cheese making, especially home cheese makers. When, you know, a simple step of home pasteurisation fixes everything, as far as I'm concerned. It fixes the, what's the word I'm looking for? Goodness me, I can't even think of it. It makes it an even, right, here we go. It makes it an even playing field as far as you know exactly what lactobacteria is in the milk when you're making your cheese, so there are no unnecessary variables. There we go, that's what I'm looking for. No unnecessary variables when you're making your cheese, and when you're trying to troubleshoot what's going wrong with your cheese or what went right with your cheese, then you can take that variable out of raw milk and all the extra lactobacteria out of the equation, and you'll have a known process, especially if you write down what you're making when you make it. Have a cheese making log, and absolutely what temperatures at what step, what pH if you're going to use pH to measure, you know, the various steps of your cheese as well. So there you go. All right, so if you've got any more questions, just don't hesitate to ask in the chat. I did have some cheese news, not my news. Yeah, so one of the newses, and this is from January. I don't know if we've seen this before, but absolutely, I think this is good to see. So here in Australia, we've had a bloke. A man who failed to remove backyard cheese facility, told to pay $120,000. That's Australian dollars. So in Adelaide, in short, here we are. In short, an Adelaide man has been found guilty of contempt of court after ignoring court orders to remove an unauthorised cheese facility built in his backyard. The Environment Resources and Development Court found retiree John Kitsis willfully disobeyed court orders. He was all right. What's the details? No, I don't want to share it. I want the bloody details. Send me the link. Oh, here it is. I'm a dag. A man who willfully disobeyed. Yeah, all right. 120,000. Well, what happened? What happened? According to earlier judgments, council first alerted to unauthorised structures and dairy manufacturing equipment in April 2018 when a person claimed to be a neighbour complained. Obviously didn't give the neighbour any cheese. That judgment noted that Mr. Kitsis, when told council officers he had approval to operate a cheese business, but it had not yet started. Then it noted he previously lodged a food business notification with the council, which he had acknowledged receipt of the form. During an inspection, they noticed that a garage and rompers room at the rear of the property had been converted into a self-contained residence containing built-in cooking appliances and laundry facilities. Says the court ordered a removal because he didn't have a license, basically. Anyway, so he's in contempt of court, didn't remove it, he ordered to pay $123,266.36. Poor bugger, and that's no good at all. That's shocking. Poor bugger. All right. Anyway, so don't set up illegal cheese making facilities in your backyard because your neighbours will dob you in. There you go. That's what happens. All right. There you go. All right. Jedi Mole says, what's that? Is that greetings? to the Rennet Works. Fabulous cheese. There you go. Ken says there's a homebrew D&D race of cheese beings called the Cheddarians. Oh, very nice. That's unique. Not into D&D myself. My daughter is. She's big into D&D, but yeah, I've never played Dungeons and Dragons. There you go. What can I say? Anyway, so I got a few cheese. I was looking in my cheese fridge yesterday when I was checking out my Valencia style cheese, which I'll be filming this afternoon. It's now ready to have a taste test, so I'm very excited about that. It's an ash-coated goat's milk cheese that has white mould all over it in a shape of a little pyramid with the top cut off. So I'm very excited to be tasting that this afternoon. I think it will be, well, creamy. Well, I don't know. We'll see. I've never tasted it before, so we'll find out, see if it's any good. Yeah, I looked at the spare bits of cheese, you know, those offcuts that you don't necessarily eat the whole lot. And some have been sitting in the cheese cave for at least 5 years. Well, in the old one anyway. I transferred them all over to the new cheese cave. So I think I'll be making a video very soon about all these extra pieces of cheese that I've collected over the course of, you know, making cheeses here on the channel, and see how old they actually are and whether they taste alright still. I think they will, of course. Cheese rarely goes off when you've got it at the right temperature for maturation. So I think, I think it'll be good fun to have a look at and taste some of those really old cheeses. So I'm planning on making a video over Easter around old cheeses I've got in the cheese fridge. So yeah, I'm looking forward to trying some of those old ones and seeing what they actually taste like after X amount of years, and we'll find that out as we go along. So that'll be good. Alright, so if you got a question, don't forget to pop it into the chat, and I'll get to it straight away. Yeah, so that'll be good fun. Okay, there is more cheese news, and we'll have the gallery in a minute, and feature one lovely photo that was sent in. And apparently there's a news article that was out not so long ago. A lot of artisan cheese making factories in Australia have been not disappearing, they've been closing down, and these are well established cheese making facilities. So this was the headline is Australia's best artisan cheeses are vanishing, here's how we can save them. Oh goodness me, do we have to have all these ads? Alright, I don't have an ad blocker. And it's all about Section 28, which was a well-known cheesemaker here in Australia, closed down. It goes on to say that in the wake of Section 28 shop closure, we take a look at the challenges currently being faced by the Australian cheese industry. So this was late last year. Australian artisan cheese lovers could be forgiven for feeling a little downcast of late. In April, Section 28 Artisan Cheeses, famed for its Alpine-style hard and semi-hard cheeses, announced it was closing after 10 wonderful years. It's expected the last wheels will be rolling out the door this month. Ha! I love the pun. Nice. Many Aussie tourophiles, which is a lover of cheese, if you didn't already know, have been struck with a sense of unease. What is happening to our cheese industry? We've already lost the iconic Holy Goat cheese back in January 2024, which left a La Luna ring-size hole in our hearts. They made a cheese called La Luna. It was like a big donut. Bloody nice too. And beyond our artisan cheeses, even Tasmania's King Island Dairy had recently been threatened with closure, and they actually got bought back again, which is fantastic. Yeah, so, Aussie cheesemakers were doing it tough there for a while. There's quite a few that are, quite a few producers that still make Aussie cheeses. I think the main reason was that, here in Australia we're going through a cost of living crisis. I think we still are now, especially with petrol prices going through the roof, or gasoline, whatever you want to call it. It's nearly like $11 a gallon Australian, or what's that? It's about $2. Was it two? Last I looked, last week anyway. Who knows? It could have changed by now. Last week it was $2.60 a litre, and there's 4 litres to a gallon roughly. Anyway, so prices of everything are going up. So, the best way to combat this sort of thing, especially if the same thing's happening near you, is obviously to make cheese, your own cheese at home. A lot cheaper, and it can be used with, you can make cheese with store-bought milk, and there's no issues with that whatsoever. I've certainly been doing it for years. I've been making cheese at home since 2009. It was a long time now, and the channel's been running equally as long. I think I made my first cheese making video in 2010 and put it up on the channel. Excuse me. So, it's absolutely worth making your own cheese at home, and you can do it on the cheap, that's for sure. The only thing I ask you is, when you do make cheese at home, do not cut corners with sanitisation. It'll clear up most of the issues you have as a beginner cheesemaker by sanitising your equipment and all of your surfaces and sink area properly, and you won't have any troubles whatsoever with your cheeses. Okay, Mike has a question, and he says, for us playing at this, are we better off making the same cheese until we get good at that one? I bounced around, had fun, but not sure I'm getting any smarter. Yeah, good point, actually, Mike. It is a good, a good question, because, look, I would say that mastering a style of cheese before you move on to another one is probably the best way to go. When I first started, I made the first lots of, I made the same style. So mainly in the cheddar family, cheddar and Italian hard cheeses. So they were the ones that I concentrated at the start of my journey. They're the easiest ones to master. Absolutely make sure that you nail them down. So they're going to take a little while. So the problem is, you could be making cheese every single week and making a mistake somewhere, a simple mistake, and you won't find out for at least a minimum of, say, 3 months before you know that your cheese is good or not good. So that's hard. That's the problem, right? So you could make a couple of cheeses for tests to start with. I highly recommend some of the easier ones, like Caerphilly's always a great starter cheese, because you can get a viable product ready to eat in about 3 weeks, and it tastes amazing. So Caerphilly is absolutely my go-to beginner cheese that I recommend if anybody wants to venture into semi-hard and harder cheeses. And then maybe move on if you're then going to go into more pressed cheeses and stuff like that. Do a nice simple stirred curd cheddar or farmhouse cheddar. I call them both. They're kind of like interchangeable on my channel. But absolutely try and nail one style of cheese first. So when you're talking about, say, the cheddar style ones, farmhouse cheddar, Caerphilly, try Lancashire or Cheshire. They're all the same style, sort of cheddary cheeses. You know, you can go as far as doing a proper cheddared cheese. They're not that hard, really. Once you get them, you just got to make sure that the rinds are absolutely closed before you wax or vacuum pack, or however you're going to, or cloth band those sorts of cheeses. But yeah, get a style, get it down pat, and then move on to the next style and then master that one. So then you could say, go on to harder Italian cheeses, or even blue cheeses or white mold cheeses, and then nail that recipe or that style of cheese and then move on to the next one. So I hope that's helped, Mike. That is time for the gallery. Now, there isn't a lot. Murray sent in a lovely photo, so let's get into that. Over on the second monitor, let me just bring up the notes she had for me. There we go. So before I start, the gallery is brought to you by you, the Curd Nerds. So all I ask is, and I'll show you at the end where you can send photos of your cheese. Shoot them through to me via email with a description on what you've done or how you've made it or what went wrong or what went right, that sort of stuff. And we show them 30 minutes into the show every single week. So thank you to Murray for sending this through. Murray's first cheese, not first cheese, this is a product. So it says, "Hi Gavin, I have found a new use for ricotta. I found a recipe I modified that uses 500 grams of ricotta, a lemon ricotta cake. The crumb is much lighter than biscuit-based cheesecake, and the filling is smooth like an unbaked cheesecake." And doesn't that look amazing? It looks. I think it's got by the looks of it, it's got the biscuit crumb at the bottom. It looks like it comes over the top as well. It does look like a cake, doesn't it? With a nice sweet ricotta filling. Looks amazing. Now, she didn't give me the recipe, so I'm not sure where the recipe is, Mari. Whether you forgot to pop that in there. I could have shared the link with all the Curd Nerds, but and you can't put a link in the chat except for me, unfortunately. Yeah, and she goes on to say, "I have enough ricotta gnocchi in my freezer, ready to cook. I had to hunt for something sweet." It looks fantastic. It does look delicious indeed. Can we scroll in? Yep, we can. So yeah, it has got it's got like a biscuit base. Is that a biscuit base on top and the bottom? It looks delicious. I want a piece right now for breakfast. But yeah, you'll write it out and send it on. Oh, fantastic. Thank you, Marion. I can pop that into... Oh, I'll probably pop it into a community post or something like that on YouTube on the channel, and we could do that. Or I can pop it into my Discord. I do have a cheese making section on my Discord as well. It's... the link is in the description down below. But as far as the gallery goes, that's it this week. Thank you, Mari, for sending in your photo. If you want to send in a photo, I'll show you how you do it. You go to... Hang on, let me just get rid of the photo. So you go to the cheese making channel. Let me just set that up. Okay. So you pop over to the channel page. And down here it says, do you want to become a Curd Nerd? You can click on where it says more or where it says, get more links. And you get this little pop-up. So here it says view email address. Just click there and you'll get the email address to send me through your cheese making photos. I've even been known to show short videos and that sort of stuff. But yeah, don't send them via email. Send them via a link via Dropbox or... Google Drive or whatever. But yeah, shoot photos through and I collate them on Sunday nights and shoot out a little email saying thank you very much, and I'll be showing it on the next live stream. So yeah, absolutely. So just click there. You've got to be logged on to onto YouTube to be able to get that. Now, as I mentioned, there is a cheese making section over on Discord where I've been putting recipes up for that I haven't tested yet, and you're free to test them if you want. But people send me recipes all the time, so you can pop over to Discord. There is a link there if you want to, amongst other things like the merch store and the Curd Nerd newsletter and our shop, Little Green Workshop. So you can check all those out. Yeah, okay. So if anybody has any more questions, then pop them into the chat. And I think there was one, says here from Ice Maiden, says, when using a wine fridge for a cheese den, where is the best place for it? as in where is the best place to put the wine fridge. Well, I've got mine in my kitchen. I just did a recent video about it, about my new wine fridge kitchen thing. Where is it? Here it is. I'll show you where mine is. Is that going to work? Yep, there we go. Right, so mine's in my kitchen next to the kitchen fridge. This is looking from the hallway that goes out the back door. But there's my cheese fridge there, and my doggo Hamish. There he is. He's a good looking rooster, isn't he? In fact, he's under the desk right now. But yeah, it's got some wine in it, and it's got all pieces of cheese I've transferred. I think by the end of it, did I show? Let's have a look. Where is it? Is he putting a cheese in there? Oh, he is. He's putting a couple of cheeses. There we go. What a good looking rooster. Nearly got the same shirt on. No, he hasn't. There it is. Oh, I'm in the way. Get out the bloody way. Alright, fair enough. You can't see much more than that. There it is there. It's got an adjustable temperature range, but I keep it in it's in the kitchen. Right, and I've got all the cheeses in there doing their thing, including the farmhouse cheddar, which will be ready in May to taste. A farmhouse cheddar with, or stir curd cheddar with green peppercorns. I'll be making some more this weekend, so that'll be good fun. But yeah, absolutely. In the kitchen where you can see it. I used to have mine in the laundry, and the problem with that was that I would ignore the cheese. Well, not ignore it. Let me put a caveat on that. Not ignore the cheese, but forget about the cheese, because the door didn't have a glass door and all that sort of stuff, and you couldn't see into the cheese cave or wine fridge. I would often walk past and just forget about it, just out of sight, out of mind. Now that it's in the kitchen and I can see it every single day, then I'm always checking out the cheese. You can see through. Have a look. It's got a little light. Turn the light on in the fridge. But absolutely, it is just spot on. Great place to have it. If you can find the space in your kitchen, put your cheese fridge in the kitchen. Now Murray says you also find every cut in your hand with the vinegar spray when sanitising your hands. Indeed, if you think, wash your hands first with hot soapy water, and then dry them off, and then if you want to go that extra mile, then you can absolutely spray your hands with just plain white vinegar straight out of the bottle. Put in a squirty bottle and squirt it on your hands and just move it. It just gets rid of any wild yeasts on your hands as well, so it kills them off, so you don't get anything on your cheese when you're handling it. I've also been using, the hand sanitizer. So I wash my hand up, and I found this out when I went to visit the Long Paddock Cheese Company up in Castlemaine. They invited me around their factory for a cheese tour, and actually I went and made some cheese with them, which was fantastic. I helped them make one of their batches of blue cheese and some of their little lactic cheeses that they white mold lactic cheese, beautiful cheese. So you wash your hands with hot soapy water and wash them all over up to the elbows, and then after you've dried your hands off, we had to hand sanitize everything. So just the normal alcohol hand sanitizer, and make sure your hands are all clean with that. Take off any rings, that sort of stuff as well, or sanitize under the ring. If you can't get your ring off, I can't get mine off. And yeah, absolutely, that works perfectly. You only need to sanitize your hands with hand sanitizer up to about there, because that's where you touch it anyway. And yeah, that works fine, absolutely. Or you can use vinegar, which is cheaper than hand sanitizer, and that works equally as well. But that was the routine we had to do every time we walked into a different cheese making room, because there were like 3 or 4 different rooms for 3 or 4 different cheeses they had on the go at any given time, because you could have transferred yeasts or molds from one batch. Say if I was handling blue cheese, we didn't want blue cheese in the lactic cheeses, so we had to go through the hand cleaning routine again when we moved to a different cheese making facility, other part. And that was it, hot soapy water, hand sanitizer, until it all went away, and then we could touch the curds and do what we wanted to do with them. So yeah, so that's a great little routine that I've been using now. And I have a hand sanitizer pump right next to the soap dispenser in the kitchen when I'm making cheese now, and that seems to work all right. Mike's got a question or more of a statement. It says, I have plastic ice trays with water and small sponges in them to keep the humidity up in cheese caves or wine fridge. Lots of surface area and easy to wash. Yeah, indeed. If you want to make natural rind cheeses and you don't want to use the ripening boxes, which I do highly recommend, because if you're using different styles of cheeses, so if you're making white mold cheeses and blue mold cheeses, and you've got them and natural rind cheeses all in the same cheese fridge, you don't want those. You don't want cross contamination between the cheeses, right? So that's why I tend to use. I use ripening boxes, which are sealed little environments with their own humidity, and you don't get as much cross-contamination. I find you don't get that, which is good. However, if you're making the same style of cheese, so like you're just making a cheddar style, right, and you're making different types of those cheddar styles, then yeah, you can make natural rinds and increase the humidity in your converted cheese fridge or wine fridge by doing what Mike has suggested there. You can also leave. You can actually buy humidifiers that pump moist air into the cheese fridge. It tends to make the humidity in the cheese or wine fridge quite high. We're talking about 95%. A lot of cheeses don't like it that high. That's really good for making white mold cheeses, but yeah, not so good for blues and natural rinds. They'll just get covered in white mold. But yeah, so having something with a sponge in it increases the surface area, and you'll get more evaporation and more humidity in your cheese fridge, like Mike has suggested there. I tend to go the other way and just create an environment just for that cheese, and I find that tends to work a lot better in my environment anyway, with limited space and that sort of stuff. Alrighty, it's 42 minutes past the hour. If anybody's got any more questions, then please shoot them through. Absolutely love to answer them for you. Having said that, a thought just came to mind that I thought that Cheeseman, I'll give some words of wisdom from my experience anyway, that cheese making is for the calm of mind. I remember going into a couple of cheese making sessions where I've been absolutely flustered for whatever reason, right? It could have been something going on in my personal life or something like that, or I just tripped over a bloody light stand or something stupid like that, because, you know, I'm videoing the cheese making process at the same time. And being flustered whilst making cheese is not good. It's not good for you. It's not good for the cheese. What I've had to do many times, well, not many times, a few times, is actually calm myself down and then just relax and get on with the process of making cheese. If you're flustered and you don't have everything in place, ready to go, and then you're hunting around for ingredients or hunting for cultures, or where I didn't sanitize everything or something like that, then it's always prone to making that cheese fail. The cheese knows when you haven't got your mind on the game. So absolutely make sure that you've got everything sanitized first, everything laid out, all the ingredients in one place, ready to go, that you don't have to go hunting for them halfway through you get to the renneting stage and you go, I haven't got my rennet out, and then you discover I haven't got any rennet. Anyway, so planning goes a long way to making a good cheese. So just a word from the wise. Make sure that A, you're not flustered, and B, you've got everything in place ready to go before your cheese make. So we do have another question. Says from the Ice Maiden, says, I have made Colby cheese and a cheddar cheese. Do I have to vacuum, do I have to wax them, or can I vacuum seal them in a bag to age them? Yes, you can. You can vacuum seal many cheeses, many styles of cheeses. The only ones you can't during maturation are the washed rind cheeses like Limburger and Brick and Port Salut and that sort of stuff. Anything that you have to keep wiping the outside of the cheese with a brine solution. Don't vacuum pack those, it won't work. Don't vacuum pack blue cheeses when you're trying to get them to get blue on them or in them, because when you starve them of oxygen, the Penicillium roqueforti dies off, so that's bad. White mold cheeses, don't vacuum pack them because they need oxygen to grow as well. But yeah, so any of the cheddar styles, Alpine styles, hard Italian style cheeses, all those ones where you cook the curds, and normally you would see them for sale either waxed or in a plastic wrap, then yeah, absolutely safe to use vacuum sealing to age them. Case in point, all of the pieces of cheese that I haven't quite consumed that I've got in the cheese fridge for long-term aging are all vacuum packed, and they will mature no problems at all. Just make sure when you turn them weekly, right, that you absolutely check to make sure that there's no whey seepage into the plastic bag. Well, not a lot anyway. So when you turn it, it should be, the seal should be intact. You can always check whether it's creating gas in the bag. If it does, re-vacuum pack it. If you used a gas-producing lactobacteria at the start or starter culture in the beginning of the process, then yes, it may be creating CO2 and expanding the bag, and that happens. But yeah, you're just checking to make sure the integrity of the cheese each week when you turn it over in the vacuum pack, or even wax, to make sure the wax isn't cracked, and that will aid you in your maturation of your cheeses. Ben, hello Ben. Ben says, have you made a caramelized onion cheese? Been looking for a recipe for one. Okay, those caramelized onion cheeses are actually processed cheeses. You will find that they're made up from a variety of cheeses, usually from Gouda or Gouda, whichever way you want to say it. The first way is correct. And cheddar, ground up, mixed together. Flavors are added, bits of onion and all that sort of stuff. And and then it's pressed back together in molds and then vacuum packed for sale. So they're made post the maturation process. The sulfur in the onion will kill off any lactobacteria that are still present in the cheese, and won't give it the same flavor if you try and mature it with onions in the cheese. Having said that, I have used onion in cheese. Dried onions in my Cotswold cheese, and it has a very distinct flavour. So dried garlic and dried onions, and what else are in there? Dried chives as well. That is probably as close to a caramelised onion cheese you're going to get. I do have a great recipe. Hang on, let me just find it. Cotswold. Yeah, I've made a couple of versions. Even my wife Kim said, can you make a chili one? Is there a chili one? Yeah, there we go. I called it Cots Chili, where it also has chili flakes in it as well, so onion and chili, very nice. Where is the good recipe? That's the old recipe, 12 years ago, 7 years ago. This is the good recipe. This is one actually has garlic in it as well, and I tell you what, it is the bee's knees. If you want an oniony flavour cheese, then this is the one for you. Let me just put that into the chat for you. Cotswold. It is an amazing onion flavoured cheese. So go and check that out, Ben, and you will have a great time making it. It's an easy process. It's not a difficult cheese to make. Just make sure that when you're using the dried onion, dried chives, and dried garlic, that they're all fresh in sealed jars. Those little, herb jars, whatever. Make sure they're all fresh, because then you'll know that those ingredients are clean and sanitized and won't have any bad bacteria lurking in them, or yeasts. Anyway, Mike says, great cheese making advice. You need to make a yin and yang looking cheese. Oh, that would be good. That would be hard. That would be difficult. Might bring the stress levels up. You could do half and half. How would I do it? Probably similar to the method that I used for the marbled cheddar, except put something in the middle. So put curds in, one on one side, one on the other side, so they're absolutely two distinct colours, and then have a sanitized plastic divider in the cheese mold itself, and then when it's just ready, and press them down with your hands, and then when it's just ready to press, pull that divider out gently so the two stay together and don't mingle, and then absolutely press it, and then you'd have a half and half. That would look really cool. So that's how I think I would do it anyway. Murray says, if you make an eye hole cheese, can you still pack it? Yes and no. So, if the cheese is going through the eye development phase, right, and this is the warm phase for the propionic shamani to create the eyes and create that nutty flavour in the cheese, I think it's for about 2 weeks at about 18 degrees Celsius, right? During that phase, no, I wouldn't vacuum pack it, because that'll inhibit the growth of the cheese. It's supposed to bulge, right? And create these eyes. If you've got atmospheric pressure working on it because you created a vacuum in the bag, you're not going to get as much eye development. So it's best to either wax or put it in a ripening box just to keep an eye on it, so no other bacteria and stuff and molds grow on the outside of the cheese. You can wipe them off with a brine. It's no big deal. Yeah, so absolutely, that is not recommended. But when it goes back into the cool phase, when it stops growing eyes, then absolutely put it into, you can vacuum pack it, no problems at all. But I do recommend that you wax the cheese. Waxing is better. It can expand if the cheese is still going to expand a little bit. If it has cracks, it's easy just to get some wax and put it on with your natural bristle brush and just fill those cracks and make sure that no molds get onto the surface of the cheese. So that's the best way to do it, Murray. Okay, the voice of reason says, I've made a baby Swiss that didn't completely knit a full rind. Is there anything I can do at latter stage after air drying just before waxing? Yeah, look, what you can do is boil up a pot of water, all right, let it cool down to about 60 degrees Celsius, and then dunk your cheese into it, and that'll warm up the cheese to a point that just put it in there for about, let me think, 5 minutes is probably best. I wouldn't go much more past that at 60 degrees because you'll kill off any lactobacteria that are necessary for the Swiss. Even though it's a fairly high temperature cheese, it should be able to handle a little bit of a shock to the outside. And then repress it again. Okay, so take it out of the hot water, repress it again, and you'll find that the rind will fully close. And you'll need to air dry it for about 6 to 12 hours again just to get the rind dry before waxing it. So that's the best way to do it. Get that rind fully closed, or you're not going to get the proper eye development within it. Ben Kenobi, G'day, crossover from the gaming channel. G'day, Ben. 07 to you, mate. He said, just caught a cheese stream. Good on you, mate. I didn't catch yours because I was setting up for this one. So, yeah, absolutely. Voice of Reason says, nice one. Thank you. No problems at all. My pleasure. That will help you out. But yeah, don't leave it in there at 60 degrees any more than about 5 minutes, because the core internal temperature of the cheese will go up too much and you may kill off the whatever thermophilic culture is still working on the cheese, creating acid. But yeah, so heating up the outside and then absolutely pop them back in the press and repress it. You'll find it's more pliable, and bingo boingo, you'll get a close rind. Add more weight. If you absolutely have to, add more weight, especially at this stage near the end. You're not going to lose whey or anything like that, or moisture out of the cheese. You need that rind fully closed and intact when you're making, say, a baby Swiss or something like that. Anyway, all good. All right, we only got 4 minutes of the stream left, so thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you have a fantastic time. We do have to pay the bills, of course. If you want to pick up any cheese making supplies, you can pop over to littlegreenworkshops.com.au. We have a comprehensive cheese page. Where the heck is it, Gav? Here it is, just to show you. So Little Green Workshops and the cheese making supplies. You pop in there and we've got all of the goodies. We've got the cheese making kits, links to the courses, the cultures and molds. We've got rennet, the cheese making equipment, cheese making baskets, all the ingredients that you use other than cultures and stuff. We've got some cheese making books and printable recipe cards. We've also got some yogurt making, preserving, but not much of that. Printable. So recipe cards, these are ones that are not in my books yet. So we're getting enough of these now that I could probably throw them into a third volume of Keep Calm and Make Cheese. But there are lots of the newer recipes are all here on the downloadable PDFs at a very reasonable price for what they are. But there are lots of them. We'll probably gather about 4 or 5 more and then whack them into another book, or extend the other books. We'll see how we go. Anyway, that's all from me today. Thank you for watching, everybody. And like I said, next Monday there won't be a Ask the Cheeseman because it's Easter and we'll be taking a break. But until then, sit back, relax, watch some cheese making videos, make some cheese over the weekend, and have a fantastic time doing it. Make sure you relax and yeah, make the cheese calmly. Keep calm and make cheese. All right, thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.